Hi everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you my designer packet that I get for being on the design team for European Papercrafts. And then we're going to go ahead and create something using some of the items here. Now, European Papercrafts is great, especially if you like to make 3D items, because her shop has some beautiful 3D items. And I just want to share with you some of these items that I got for my spring packet. Now, whenever I get the packet, I always get some envelope folds from the owner, Katrine, and this was no different. She sent me these oversized card panels, which are already pre-embossed, which are great. And as you can see, she did include some matching envelopes, so this is great for a bigger card, along with some other card designs here. She has some of these that are pre-scored, so if you like to do these pop-ups, these are really great because she's already pre-scored them for you on her kit. And then I got some of these spring papers and a little set, and these are the 6x6 strawberry papers. A lot of beautiful items here that you can create with, and this is actually what we're going to use to create my project today. So you can get some of these 6x6 paper items that will be perfect for spring, and as you can see, they've just got some really beautiful designs here. She also included some of these 3D toppers that are great to be able to create some 3D elements, and I've got some wonderful images here that are going to be perfect for some of my spring crafting. She included this little bobble here, or wobbler, which I've used on some of my sets before, so that was really fun to get in my pack. And then I also got some of these Happy Easter metallic shining stickers with these little Easter baskets. You can also get your pop-up foam over in her shop, which are great for your 3D elements. And then she also has these gold stickers, which are great for outlining some of your cards, or just as extra embellishments. Now, some of the extra items here that I got are just, again, more 3D items that you can use. You can push these out, and what's really nice about these is she has the numbers, so it tells you exactly what your layering number set is, so you can get them layered exactly the way that they were designed. And this is for this Easter one as well, which is really cute. This is new. I haven't gotten this before, but this is just a pack that has all these little elements in here. So it's a pack in one, which is great if you want to go ahead and just, you know, not have to pull out all of your supplies, but you want to make a card, and this is really great for that as well. And then finally, I got some more 3D elements. She's got her foil decoupage, which are just beautiful. These are just so pretty to make your Easter cards. And then this is like a pop-up, and it's kind of foamy a little bit, so it's a 3D element, which will be really great. So I've got a lot to play with here, and I kind of went back and forth on what I wanted to create this month for you. So I decided on this little box here, and I'm going to show you how to create this little box. It's really cute because you can use it for Easter, and you can put little chocolates or little jelly beans, different types of things in here, and it was really easy to make. So I thought I would go ahead and show you how I did that for my project this month. So let me go ahead and we'll get going on this. Okay, so just to save on time, I went ahead and I cut everything out and I scored it, but I'm going to give you the dimensions. And what I would say is, once you get your box together, when you're cutting these little pieces, measure them before you cut them, because when I went ahead and I tried to cut my first set, I ended up coming a little bit short. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the measurements that I worked, but make sure that you just double check me when you're putting your project together. All right, so for this box, you're going to want something or a cardstock that's 11 inches by 4 inches. And if you don't want to have to mess with, you know, putting your paper on, you can certainly just use designer paper and not have to worry about the design of putting the extra paper. But I really like the white the white border on the box, and that's why I ended up going this way. But you could certainly do this with just regular designer paper. And then if you're using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, you can get 2 of these. So I cut this one, and then I saved this one for the actual video. So once you get it cut out, then you're going to want to score, and you're going to score 2.5 inches here, 2 inches. So you got 1 inch here and you've got 1 inch here. All right, and then your other score lines are going to be 4 inches, 5 inches, 9 inches, and 10 inches. And those are these scores right here. And then once you get them all scored, you know, you just want to go ahead and fold them over, do your score lines to get them nice and creased. And then you're going to go ahead and we're going to work on putting the box together. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fold these over on the scores that I did, so you can kind of see how it's going to go together. Now you are going to also have to do some cutting, so make sure that you do have your scissors, and we're going to cut a couple places here. So we're going to cut, where are we going to cut? We're going to cut, okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do some cutting. And I don't know if you guys caught on here, but on the first card that I was showing you, or the first box, I had only scored 1/2 inch. So I had to stop the camera and redo this, because you are going to definitely want it to be 1 inch. Now, if you do go 1/2 inch, which is the one I did wrong here, it makes your box a little bit bigger, which probably would be fine. But your sides are going to be a lot thinner, so you just kind of want to keep that in mind. So I went ahead and I just kind of rescored this, and then I just turned the video back on. So as far as where we're going to be trimming, so we're going to do a few trims here. So you're going to want to trim here, which is, you have 2 scores here, so you want to score where there's only the 1 box. And you want to go ahead and just cut it right to your score line. And then you also want to create just a little sliver when you're cutting, to kind of help it fold a little bit more. I mean, just very, very small at an angle to help it fold over a little bit easier. And then you're going to do the same thing on your other side here. So again, we're just doing a real small sliver to help the folding. And as you can see, you got a little gap, but not much at all. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just cut right on your score line, and then create your little sliver. And this will help, like I said, when you're actually putting the box together. It will help with some of the folding. And then your little sliver right there. A little bit harder to do it on camera, but hopefully you guys are getting the idea. All right. And then when you go to this side, you're going to want to just cut this piece out altogether. So just go ahead and just cut right on your score line all the way to the second score line here, and we're going to cut this out. All right. So that pretty much, once you get these cut out, that pretty much is the box, other than gluing it together and decorating it. Like I said, it's a very, very easy design. Just fix my score line here. It's a very easy design to make this cute little box. All right. Okay, so there you go. Now, once you have your box cut out, you can go a couple of ways. You can certainly glue the box together, but I like to actually decorate it, because to me, I think it's a lot easier to decorate something that's flat versus something, you know, that's put together already. But I know some people say that they like to have the box put together. So if they are using, you know, paper that needs to go a certain direction, but I think if you just, you know, before you glue, just make sure you have your paper go in the right direction. And this is how your box is going to kind of end up. So this is going to be the front. So we're going to want to go ahead and, you know, put this here. Now I'm using my 3-in-1 beacon, just because I like to be able to have some movement on my craft paper when I'm actually gluing it down, but certainly any adhesive will probably work. So I'm gonna have to actually get me another bottle. My bottle's getting empty from overuse. So I've got my designer paper here, paying attention to the way my roses are going. And then I'm just going to go ahead and center it just by eyeballing it here. All right. So that's going to be the front of my box. And then my two side panels are going to be right here. So let's go ahead and just put those on while we got this flat piece. Now, like I said, this box can be used for all sorts of things. You know, during Easter, a lot of us like, you know, the jelly bellies or the jelly beans. This would be a really cute box for that. I think it could probably also fit some maybe M&Ms or Candy Kisses. Could be a really cute little treat box. I think it would be great also, like if you wanted to take some treats in for your co-workers at work. These would be really cute as well. All right, so I've went ahead and I've just glued these down, and that's going to be the front of my box. All right, and then I want to go ahead and do the back, which is going to be here. So like I said, as long as you're paying attention before you actually glue it down, even if you are using, you know, paper that needs to go in a certain direction, just make sure that you do like I just did, you know, just kind of put your box together, fold it up so you can see exactly the way it's going to lie. So that way you can make sure your design is going in the right direction. All right, so there is my back. And then the last piece that I'm going to have is the top. So let's go ahead and look at that really quick here. So the top is going to go right there. Now on this one, I don't know if you can see, I actually think I need to trim it a little bit more. So I said my measurements, let me make sure I grab the right piece. I actually like this piece better. So you just, again, when you're putting your box together, just kind of figure out exactly how big your box is, and you're going to want to go 1/4 of an inch in. So I just went ahead and I marked my paper, and then I'm going to just trim it at 1/2 inch. And part of, let's see, probably not 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch. So that looks about right. And I apologize. I know I'm not a precise crafter. I know a lot of you like the exact measurements, but really I just think, you know, when you're making these types of things, you just kind of have to measure as you go. And then once you've got it down, then you can write down your own measurements. But I gave you, I'm going to give you, you know, some measurements that I use, and I'll get those all for you at the end of the video. But make sure when you are putting this box together that you do, you know, make sure that you measure it out for yourself. All right, so I think that's a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. And this was the original piece I have, and as you can see, it's a little bit thicker and a little bit shorter. So even my measurement that I had written down was a little bit off. But like I said, I'll put all my measurements that I used at the end of the video. So if you want to stop it at the end, you can at least have some general guidelines as far as your paper. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. And I don't know if you just caught that, but I just put it on the bottom and not the top. All right. So let's try this again. So this is the top, Monica, and you know, no wonder I was off. No wonder I was off. All right, so Yeah, I guess that's all right. Okay, so you guys are watching me fumble on camera. Okay, so again, I guess my point is just make sure that you don't do what I just did. Make sure that you have measured before you glue, and make sure that you are gluing onto the right piece. And I can certainly edit this out, but I'm not going to, because I want to show you that even if you do make a mistake, you can always fix it. I was able to kind of pull that off, and that's what I like about the beacon also, is once it dries, it's kind of rubbery on the paper, so you can just kind of, you know, push it off. And it's going to be the bottom anyway, so it's not going to make that big of a difference. All right, so we got past that fumble. So let's go ahead and put our box together here. But actually, before I do that, I want to show you how I did this little design. So I actually used a die, and any border die I think probably would work. So, you know, if you want to have a fancy border here, just use some sort of a fancy border die. Okay, so I went ahead and I just cut that out so that way I have a little bit of a design at the flap. And then before you glue, oh, sorry about that, that was my other email going off. Before you glue, you want to go ahead and figure out exactly where your tie is going to be. So let's go ahead and do that. Looks good. I probably would recommend measuring before you do that. That I tend to fly by the seat of my pants. But if you want to make sure that you get it in the right place, it would kind of stink to mess up at this point. But I seem to be doing okay here. All right, so let's go ahead. And punch. And hopefully that will line up okay. All right, fingers crossed, right? Okay, so here's our box. I'm gonna do a quick check to make sure that it lines up. Yep, and then I'm good. All right, so let's go ahead and just add some glue and get this box together. So first we're gonna do these little flaps. All right, and that will fold your box up, and we'll give that a minute to dry. Oops. And then we will do the side flaps here. All right. Just adding some more glue. And let's go ahead and get some glue on the other side as well. Don't put it down though, because remember you have glue on the other side. I almost did that. All right. So your box is just going to go together really nicely. Okay. So when you are using, you know, wet adhesive, you do have to kind of hold it in place. Give it a minute to dry. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of holding it in place, giving it a minute to dry. Okay, so now you have your box, and then the last thing you just got to do is add your tie and then some decorations. So I decided to use more simple paper. As you saw in this one, I kind of left it plain because I like the little sentiment here. But I'm going to actually, for this particular one, I'm going to use this really pretty Easter pop-up. And as you can see, it's going to be fine with the tie. Even though it's going to cover it, when it's closed, it still will work. So I'm going to just start out by gluing down the base. And this, again, this is one of those 3D dies here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of figure out my placement, keeping in mind that I have that little closure right there. And then I'm going to use my foam dots to pop up my little Easter egg here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get some foam dots to pop it up. Okay, and just peel those right off. All right, and as you can see, it's an exact replication of your base, so you can know exactly where to put your second layer. And then again for the third layer, do exactly the same thing here by adding your foam dots. All right, so I got my third layer right here, which creates a really nice 3D element. And then I am going to go ahead and add a little sentiment because this is an Easter box. So I'll use these really pretty little stickers. Very delicate, which is perfect for the top of your box. They're so small and so delicate, but they're perfect size for this box. And if you wanted, you even have room to put one of these little baskets. Do you? Oh, yeah, I guess so. No, you know what? Maybe we'll put that actually on the side, so it doesn't take away from the sentiment. And that's crooked, but you get the idea. See if we can put this one on straight. Oh, you know what? The bow is a little crooked. Maybe that's why. All right, so when you're putting this on, just make sure your egg is straight. Let's see if I can get it somewhat matching here. Oh, that's cute. All right, so perfect. All right, and then again, the last thing you want to do is just get some of your twine or your ribbon. This may be a little bit thicker than you want, but you can certainly use anything that's going to work for your tie. You want to make sure that it is going to be at least thick enough so it doesn't come through. So I'm just tying a knot here that will go on the inside. And then I will take this here and put it through. Now I find if you do one string at a time, it tends to work a little bit better. Like I said, this twine is a little bit thick, but it does work because I used it on my first box. But you just kind of have to ease it through, and that's why I actually cut my twine a little bit bigger, because I know I may have to trim it if I have any fraying. And then with the thicker twine, I just kind of move my twine over, see if I can get it through. Okay, so I ended up having to do this off screen. So as you can see, there's my knot. It comes through and then it kind of ties up here, and then it will flatten to make a little bow. All right, so, and that will be your closure for your little box. And then, like I said, if you need to put a little card, you know, a little tag, maybe you can always put that there. But just a really cute, simple box that you can use, you know, for Easter, or any fun little treat. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed my little tutorial today. Be sure to check out European Papercrafts. They have some beautiful 3D elements that are great for your cards and some of your projects, and of course these cute little boxes. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.